day and welcome to Nigerian pilot election coverage for the 2023 general election. Of course, as usual on this channel, we'll be serving you with up-to-date tidbits of the happenings around the country, just as Nigerians head to the polls to select a new president. My name is Manuel Obiswe, and of course with me I have a guest here in the studio. Permit me to introduce my guest is no other one than the Director of Publications of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper, Barrister Chuks Ogwegwe. Welcome to the show, sir.
My pleasure. Good to be here.
All right, we'll move very quickly. Of course, the polls are on the way. Nigerians are thumping their print on the ballot box to select a new leader that is expected to replace outgoing President Muhammadu Buhari. That's, of course, slated to leave office by May 29 this year. So, sir, given the uncertainties and tensions that have, led to the build-up of these elections, an all-important elections, what is your perception of the turnout so far?
Okay, thank you very much. This is the day Nigerians have been waiting for the past 4 years, and the build-up have been very momentous. This morning, I left my house. I had to drive around as a reporter. I was shocked. The mammoth crowd I saw in almost all the polling units, I couldn't believe it. I interviewed some of them and they said that this is the only power they have. And what is the power? Their PVC. So they are ready to go the whole hog to cast their ballots so that they can determine, they can be part of, in short, what's happening. They are hiring a chief executive officer for the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the next 4 years. That's just what's happening. The reports we are getting from other places, like in Plateau, in the southeast, most areas in Lagos, that INEC officials are not there. Voters are waiting, but the officials are not there. I mean, that's quite challenging. Even former President Goodluck Jonathan, who voted in Otoke, he said he arrived there at 8:30 in the morning and there was no official. He had to go back to his residence to come back again at about quarter after 11 or thereabout for him to cast his ballot. It shouldn't be so. We were given assurances and upon assurances by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, that they were set ready to go. And this is where it is. They shouldn't joke with Nigerians. Nigerians have had it to their necks and they are eagerly waiting. Nothing should stop any Nigerian who is of age and who has his ballot box from performing this civic responsibility.
Talking about, sorry to cut you short, sir. Talking about, of course, the big shots that have casted their votes. President Muhammadu Buhari has voted. We hear that Peter Obi has also voted. Atiku has voted. And even Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do you think of their reactions?
Yes, they've all voted. I watched them on television. President Buhari voted in Daura with the First Lady, and he said that immediately after he cast his vote, characteristic of him, after thumbprinting, he showed his voter's card. I don't think that was right, given the sensitivity of what is going on. And he said that during the campaign, he had mentioned who he wants Nigerians to vote for. I do not think that was very necessary. That's.
Do you think the president was not neutral enough?
He shouldn't have said that. He ought to have, at this stage, neutrality is very important. So that, because this is a very sensitive period Nigerians are passing through. Nothing to incite them, nothing to sue any vote. The campaigns ended 24 hours ago, and Mr. President ought to know. That is that one. Bola Tinubu voted in Lagos, and he said that, look, let the electoral space be made safe, let people vote, and let democracy have its way. Fantastic. Peter Obi in Agulu voted too with his wife. He arrived at the polling booth and joined the queue. There were entreaties on him for him to go and cast his vote without joining the queue. He said no. Peter Obi is a very humble person. He waited on the queue and moved until it got to his turn and that of his wife, and they cast their votes. But in Kano, Kwakwanso had a difficult time locating his name, and when he went to cast his vote, the crowd there there was no coordination, there was no security, and anything could have happened. It shouldn't have been that way. I didn't see any voting cubicle in that polling unit where Kwankwaso cast his vote, and that's quite unfortunate. Anything could have happened, but thankfully nothing happened. The only thing is that Nigerians are enthusiastic, they just want to vote. So INEC has to put on the thinking cap and make sure that whatever is lacking. Somebody just called me from Southeast now that the INEC officials were just arriving the venue, the polling unit, and
At this time,
that was 10 minutes after 12 at this time. So people would have waited from 7 a.m. till now, 5 whole hours, and they were just arriving. This is uncalled for, it's unfortunate, and I hope they will be able to manage it so that the people will not take the laws into their hands.
okay. Now let's talk about the INEC. Do you think INEC is set to deliver a credible, free and fair elections? For instance, let me give you, we've been hearing cases of pockets of challenges so far. I think in one of the polling units here in the FCT, there was a complaint of the officials not having ink. They had to improvise, and resort to using ink from pen, from biro. It was a very unbelievable experience.
If that can happen in FCT, which is a shouting distance to INEC headquarters, you can imagine what will happen in Bayelsa, Adamawa, Zamfara, all those far-flung places. They had enough time. They are largely rural. Yes. They had enough time and again, Professor Mahmood assured the nation, assured the world that the commission was set. Well, you cannot rule out last-minute hitches, but the thing is that there should have been substitutions so that there will be fallback if things like this happen. I want to believe that they should be able to manage it and manage it well, fairly well, so that majority of the 87.2 million persons who collected their PVCs will exercise their franchise.
Okay, now let's talk security. What is your assessment of the security deployment and situation so far? On top of,
I'm not everywhere in Nigeria, but I have reports from the outstation correspondent. So far, it's been quite, it's okay. We've not had any untoward action. Here in FCT, where I moved around, you could see them at strategic places, and they are very polite. They are very civil in their approach, and nobody has gone off his way to breach the rules. So for now, there are no reports, and let's believe God that it continues like that till the end of polling period and the collation, and at the end of the day, we should look at the records and see whether it will be a clean slate or there will be some hitches. But for now, all is going well by reports I have seen.
Okay.
More so, don't forget that they sent out hotlines if there's any crisis or skirmishes anywhere. Don't hesitate
to reach out
to reach out to them so that they can react immediately. Not just the police is there, but at the background, the military guys are there to give a backup support if the need arises.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the Southeast. As we speak, from reports we have been getting across the country, of course, voting is going on across the Southeast. Even with the threats that came from IPOB, unknown gunmen, the threats of the order of sit at home, But as we speak, voting is ongoing, at least as far as we know. Is this a sign of victory for democracy?
Absolutely. Democracy doesn't fall from the skies. People work for it, and there is a consensus building. One guy who calls himself Simon Ekpa, who resides in Finland, he holds Nigerian passport and that of Finnish. And he's been inciting people, collecting money, and making sure that there is unrest in the Southeast. And he made a broadcast that there will be curfew from 24th of February to the end of the month. That's to show that everybody will sit at home, nobody will come out to vote. But concerted efforts were made. Some of us called out the government of Nigeria, especially the foreign affairs minister, and mandated him to invite the Finland envoy in Nigeria, which he did, and gave the envoy terms that Nigeria is a sovereign nation, that a Nigerian citizen cannot be residing in Finland and levying war on Nigeria, and they are supporting the person. Simon Ekpa was pulled in 1 or 2 days ago, he was questioned. And yesterday, Friday, he had to go back to police for further questioning, meaning that the authorities in Finland is doing something about it. IPOB never said that there will be no voting. IPOB said that go and exercise their franchise. But the thing is that the people in the southeast have been so badly traumatized that even the number of persons who are out there now to cast their votes, this is not what's supposed to be. Majority of them have been so badly demoralized and they don't know what to do. But the thing is that federal government moved in late, but it is better it is late than never. So people are reassured and they are coming out to cast their votes, which is what it's supposed to be. You don't have a president who is not president of the whole of Nigeria. The constitution mandates it on the person. You are the sovereign, the only sovereign here for the entire geographical spread called Nigeria. So if Southeast is not, people from Southeast are not casting their vote, that puts a huge question mark on the outcome of the election. The same thing for all the zones, especially Northeast, all these flashpoints. But it's good that run up to the election, the security authorities assured us and they've made everything possible to make sure that Nigerians have a peaceful setup, go and cast their votes, get back to their homes, the votes will count. At the end, whoever wins, people will say, well, we did ours and this is the outcome and it's acceptable.
It's okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. But as we begin to round up this session, let's talk about vote buying. We had cases of the EFCC seizing over 13 million naira in Lagos in raw cash of the newly minted notes. And then there was another tranche of, I think, a little bit over $500,000 in Port Harcourt. With all this, when you put this together, do you think this will control vote buying?
You know, people had issues with the CBN over the Naira redesign. And the government of the day kept saying that, look, we are doing this thing to make sure that vote buying is kept in check. And if you check in the past few days, you know, they cannot have 100% assurance. But the thing is that it has been reduced to a minimal level. Now, I understand that what the Nigerian politicians are doing now, those of them who have so much money at their beck and call, they are now giving foreign currencies, especially the dollar. Maybe that probably informed what happened in Rivers State. Police is still investigating it. The one in Lagos is equally there. But what I don't like is the situation where EFCC and ICPC officials wait till voting day to go to the poll, to go and join people who are, and seeing whether anybody is coming to the queue to distribute currency. Nobody does that. They should be smarter than that. These things are done before the election. People just come there to cast them. Nobody in his right senses will come to people who are on the queue and share money. So they should stop all this braggadocio of wearing their vest and coming to say we are EFCC. No. Other things, other methods should be employed for them to do their job and do it well. They're not doing badly, but I'm saying that they can do better than that. Other techniques, employ it and make sure that, because all, like it or not, what Buhari is trying to do is that to create a level playing field for all the politicians, so that sell your manifesto, let people see you, let people hear you, let them put what they are saying side by side with what they are going through. If it suits them, they will vote for you. If it doesn't suit them, look at the demographics of the voters today. 70-75% of the demography are youths, and they are angry and they want to express that. That is why you go out there now, you see them in their hundreds, thousands. They are waiting patiently. They want to cast this ballot, and they want this ballot to count, so that at the end of the day, they want to believe that there will be a new leader in Nigeria that will pull this country out of the mess it has found itself.
All right, I want to thank you so much, Barrister Chuks Oghogu, for your time. Of course, viewers, you have heard it from stakeholders. The Nigerian Pilot TV will continue to monitor the elections as it unfolds. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Of course, we'll continue to give you updates on the polls as it unfolds. My name is Emmanuel Obisoye. Stay tuned.